Hey guys, this is Hex, and in today's video for Elder Scrolls Online for Beginners, I thought I would tackle the subject of skills. This is a subject that I kind of briefly touched upon in the previous videos, like enchanting, blacksmithing, but this time I wanted to give a more in-depth look at just skills in general. And the reason I wanted to do this is because I've noticed that a lot of people, when they first come into an MMO, if they've never played it before in their lives, and of course, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming. Um, they often become so caught up in exploring the world and fighting monsters and such, that which is understandable, that they forget that they have skills sets that can help them, that they can upgrade skills, and just basically have more options to choose from to make their game playing experience a lot more easier. Um, so if you're one of those people that have been struggling, um, this video possibly could help you. If you're one of those players that already know about skill sets and all that, just ignore this video. Just move it along, move it along. Um, but anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go into our skills. Now, at the beginning of the game, you're already going to have like a list of skill sets already. You're going to have your class skills, your weapon skills, your armor skills, your world skills, your craft skills. Now, at the start, when you first came out of, when you're playing and you first come out of Cold Harbor and you're in your in that city that you finally wind up in, whichever one that might be, you can join guilds, like the Fires Guild, Mages Guild, or Undaunted, to get an extra skill set. So that's even more options for you to have. Now, at the beginning, as you may know, when you're exploring and fighting and all this stuff, as you go up levels, you're going to get skill points, and you also get skill points for every 3 sky shards that you find. So that's a motivation right there to find sky shards. Just go around there until you find them, and for every 3 you get a skill point, and that's more points that you can put in the stuff that you actually want to do. First things first, each one of these, most of the skill sets are pretty much the same. You're going to have your active abilities and you're going to have your passive abilities. But there's going to be some that have like an ultimate ability category, and I will explain that here in a few minutes. But the ultimate ability categories will be, for the most part, in your class section, and I don't think it's in your weapons section. No, it's class and your guild stuff. Now, when you're choosing which ones to unlock, you might be thinking, well, okay, where do I put it at? Well, it's largely in part due, just it depends on really which character you want to play. If you're like a Dragon Knight, most likely you're going to be a tank. So you have to kind of think about that. I was like, well, what have I seen, from like, you can even draw from like movies. Well, what have I seen? Okay, well, knights, they wear armor. They use, two-handed weapons, one-handed weapons, shields, and so on and so forth. So you can start putting points into that. And, it's just basically whatever you want to do. My advice from the get-go is just to just highlight each one of these and grab a pen and paper and just kind of read these over and figure out which ones that you might be interested in, and go from there. Now, I will tell you this much: when you're unlocking these, there's a few things that you have to kind of consider. So let's say we go into two-handed. Each one of these skill sets requires you to be a certain, have certain requirements that it takes to completely unlock it. Um, so right here, in the cleave, you notice that the box is dark. That just means it's halfway unlocked. I mean, it's unlocked for you to put a point in, but that's, but this right here, the critical charge, that is fully locked. And as you can see on the right, it says unlocked at two-handed 4, which means you have to be at a rank 4 to do that. Now, if you look at the bottom right of my screen, my two-handed's like 2, and so that means I can't really unlock that. Now, there's two different ways to unlock your ranks. One of which is if you go around throughout Tamriel and you pick up books and you start reading. A lot of books, if you open them up, it's just, just stories and so forth. It doesn't really do anything, but there's some books, as soon as you open them up, it'll say something like, for example, you just went up a rank in two-handed weapons. So that's one easy way to get up a rank. But unfortunately, books like that aren't majorly common. You'll find them every once in a while, but it's not going to be all the time. The biggest majority of the stuff that you're going to do to go up the ranks is just basically using these abilities that you have that you've assigned to your ability bar, and I will explain the ability bar here in a minute. So basically, the more you use those abilities, the more experience is going to be put into your bar. So the more, let's say I use Cleave, for example, or any of the others that I may have unlocked, I'm going to get more experience till I go up to like level 3 and level 4 and so on and so forth. Now, as far as like, let's get to the 3 of these. As far as like unlocking these goes, you might be thinking, well, let's say I'm a Nightblade, which my character is, and I want to go into Assassination, you might be thinking, well, if I choose this, I'm going to have to go all the way down the line. I can't choose anything out of these. And that's where you're wrong, because with this particular MMO, it gives you the freedom to just kind of like, mix and match. You don't have to stick with one particular category. Just as long as you feel you have the requirements to unlock certain skills of it, you should be good to go. So I've got like some assassination stuff up, but let's say I may want to go in the shadow and unlock that. As long as I, put those in my ability bars, and use them, I should be good to go. Another thing is, let me go back to assassination. Let's say these right here I haven't put any points into these yet. Well, or let's say these 3 right here, I haven't put any points in these yet. I don't have to really start at Killer's Blade. If I want to use Blur, I don't have to really start at Killer's Blade and work my way down. If I like Blur enough, I can just unlock it if I have the requirements. No, so in other words, you don't have to go down a straight line each time. Now, what I really want to talk about next is upgrading. You can upgrade all active abilities, and I can't really remember what rank specifically you have to be to unlock these, so please forgive me on that one. But once you fit the requirements for it, because I've already unlocked the Killer's Blade for this one. Once you fit the requirements for it, I think there'll be like a plus beside the box or something along that line. It's like some sort of icon that's beside the box that says that you can upgrade it. Now, if you stick a point in there for upgrading, you'll get 2 options. And when you look at the options at first, they look about the same. In fact, they're about 98% the same. But then when you look at the other sections of each one, like at the very bottom of each of the 2 that you're looking at, there's a slight difference. Like it may, help you with one thing, and the other one might help you with something else completely. So that's, how they're different. Which one do you choose? That's up to you. It's just really how you want to play it and how you feel like playing it. The passive abilities you can upgrade as well, and once again, it'll give you requirements for this. Like at the start, I think these first 2 were open, so I just went ahead and put a point in Master Assassin. But it says that, you know, in order for me to put another point into that to upgrade it even further, I would need to have it unlocked at Assassination rank 18. So as you can see, I'm Assassination rank 15, so I'm pretty close to it. I just got to keep working for it. Okay, now the last thing I really want to talk about, unless I've completely forgot something, and you never know, um, is assigning your skills to your ability bar. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start with the ultimate abilities first. And in case I haven't explained it, because I don't really remember explaining it, but ultimate abilities is a really special ability that if you, well, actually it's a really powerful ability that really doesn't, that when it's activated, like in the heat of battle, you don't have to, it won't draw, when you're using it, it won't draw out from your stamina, and it won't draw it from your magicka. So in a sense, it's like a special ability freebie, I guess you can say. I'm not really going to explain really how to use it, because I did that on a I think it was my combat video part 2. So be sure to check that out so you see how to use it. But I will say this, as far as special abilities goes, or excuse me, ultimate abilities goes, you can unlock more than one, but you can't use more than one. So in other words, if I'm wanting, so if I decide, okay, I want to switch it out what I've got for like consuming darkness, and I have this unlocked, I would literally have to go and switch it out, you know, just reassign it. Now, assigning the other skills, if I decide, let's say, I want to put Killer Blade up here, in order to do that, all you gotta do is you highlight which one you're wanting to, you put in the ability bar, you tap square, and then you basically choose out of these right here. You obviously can't put them in the ultimate ability box, you know, so just ignore that. But you can put it in the square, triangle, circle, L1 or R1 button section. Now once you find the one you choose, let's say I want to choose the one with square button, don't hit the square button, because that doesn't do anything. All the square just indicates is when you get out of your skill section and you start, you know, fighting stuff, you know, square will be the thing that you use to activate it. So in order to assign it, if you take a look at the bottom left, it says X to assign, so all you would have to do is tap X to assign, and then there you have it. And these aren't permanent, you know, you can switch these out anytime you want, including the ultimate abilities. Now, like I said, the only ones that you won't, or if I hadn't said it, I don't know, I've been scattered as of late. Passive you won't need to assign, so don't worry about that. You just basically unlock them and you're good to go. They will always work. These will, you know, these of course you will have to assign, and when you're in the battle, you know, you're activating them by hitting that particular button. Oh boy, that was a long video. But I think that's it, unless I've forgotten something, and you never know, because I'm really doing this in the raw, as you can tell. This is raw video. But if there's something that you think that I've forgotten, or maybe there's something that you thought I was vague on that you needed more clarification on, go ahead and just leave it in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you on that. But for now, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I hope to see you guys real soon. And take care, and hopefully this was helpful to you guys.